You're just in time for Minotaur Smut, Monkey. Are y'all ready for me to read the first chapter of Morning Glory Milking Farm? So my whole house could hear it. Do you guys want to hear the description of this book? Actually, you know what? No. We're going in raw. All right. We need some lo-fi? Let's do some lo-fi. All right. It's reading time. The fuck? Hopefully the first chapter isn't just exposition. I have a secret I'll tell you at the end of the first chapter, Serena, about what I know about the second chapter. All right, friends. Are you ready for Morning Glory Milking Farm? Oh my God. I just read the first sentence. At least spit on it first. Monkey, you did not. Really, Monkey? Wow. So this has become such an inside joke that we now have merch called Mandy's Minotaur. Monkey just gave away 2 of these coffee cups to the chat. If you would like to win one, type !enter. It's completely free to you. All you have to do is log into my merch site with your Twitch account later and put in your shipping address, !enter. There's going to be 2 winners of the Mandy's Minotaur mug. Thanks, Monkey, for the gifted merch. !enter, !enter, !enter. I'm going to make a loud sound now. !enter. Oh, I love that !enter is the command. It's so fitting. Let's !enter into the smut book, shall we? I'll wait to start till after the giveaway's over. It's only 180 seconds, and I've been talking for like at least 60 of them. !enter. You can win. You can win. I can't believe this is a fucking merch item. We released new merch, by the way. If you're here, I love this jacket. I think it looks dope as shit. I think it looks so cool. Phone cases, a jersey, some socks. Unfortunately, multiple Mandy's Minotaur things. Type !enter if you want to join. I think you're already in it, Ginger. We added some more kiddo merch for the little babies in the Mayhem. A sweater. Look at the cardigan, chat. We added that yesterday. But yeah, we do have a bunch of merch. Unfortunately, there is pickle stuff. We don't have to talk about it. !enter. This is the item we gave away on day one of our Mandy's Mayhem-a-thon. We got swimsuits, fanny packs, chaotic Nessie. Anyway, but the giveaway today, if you type !, not giveaway today, sorry, that's bad wording for what's going on. Monkey just gifted 2 of these. Just gifted 2 of these to the community. Sorry, that music was so loud. I apologize. Monkey just gifted 2 of these to the community. !enter if you want to win. I have the Chaos Nessie, can't confirm. Comfy. You don't have to hit enter twice on this one. Fourth Wall bot can pull multiple winners at one time for some reason. But my Mix It Up bot doesn't like that, so. We know Bloob didn't listen for a whole 60 seconds now. You're edging us more than the book. Lemur, listen, this is not my fault. Monkey did it. Monkey did it. Oh, chat was erroring out, so I didn't know sure what went through. Clumsy! Wait, was it 2 of them or just 1? Did I miss it? Oh, there we go. Maelstrom. Clumsy and Maelstrom, you win. Let's go. Clumsy and Maelstrom. Make sure you click on that link, and it's going to ask you to confirm that you are, in fact, the owner of the Twitch account that just won, and then put in your shipping address. Thank you, Monkey, for the gifted. Wait, hold on. Wait, whoa. Wait, what? Wait, Maelstrom. Wait, no, I'm sorry. Wait, whoa. I fucked up. You did it at the same time. You confused me. Hold on. No, sorry. Wait, what? Lynx and Maelstrom won. Lynx and Maelstrom won. Clumsy. Lynx and Maelstrom won. Clumsy gifted another item to the chat. That timing was wild. Clumsy, thank you for the giveaway. Lynx, hold on. Things are happening. There's another giveaway. You confused me, Clumsy. Clumsy gifted a t-shirt to the chat. Type exclamation mark, enter again. Sorry, it all came through at the same time. Clumsy gifted a t-shirt to the chat, and Lynx and Maelstrom, you won the giveaway. Sorry. So Lynx and Maelstrom, make sure you click on that link. There's another giveaway. Type exclamation mark, enter again. You could win the t-shirt version. It comes in many colors. Ooh, pretty. Gotta do blue and pink. Those are my typical colors for those who are not. Are you new here? I'm not normally a green and red Christmas streamer. We're usually blue and pink. Oh. And I hope. Exclamation mark, enter. You can win these giveaway. Sorry, Clumsy. Sorry, Link. Sorry, Maelstrom. That was confusing. Maelstrom and Lynx, you won the last one. Make sure you go collect that. Clumsy, thank you again for the giveaway. Type exclamation mark, enter if you want to win a free. We are just edging chat. We have not quite, cracked open the book here. I mean, we have. We're just teasing it. We're just teasing. Exclamation mark, enter to win this merch. I read the first line and I'm concerned. You guys are going to love it. This is going to be an interesting time for me, let me tell you. There's another one. If you entered for the coffee mugs, Clumsy was kind enough to gift a t-shirt to the chat as well. So make sure you've entered for the t-shirt one. Please don't, Blueberry. Please don't. I'm already going to kind of do ASMR, to be honest. You're kind of going to get it for free. Ginger! You won! You said I would rock that. Well, congratulations. You get to. Ginger, you won! Let's go! Great news we have for you. Let's go! Ginger, click on that link for me. Click on that link. It'll take you to my merch website hosted by Fourth Wall. It's going to ask you to connect your Twitch just to make sure that you do, in fact, own the account, Ginger Jesus. And then you just have to put in your shipping address and your size. Let's go. Congratulations, Ginger. Well, now you're really kidnapped. You and Lemur, you guys can't leave the basement now. Congratulations. All right. Now that we're done with the chaos, let's start the smut book, okay? Yeah, Lemur, sorry, you're part of the you got kidnapped too. Listen, you're stuck with this chaos now. Stick around, maybe you'll win a giveaway too. Mandy, are we doing signups for the 1v1 tomorrow in case it gets unlocked? I guess so. Talk to me about it after I'm done reading this book, Morgan, / maybe after a modcast. We'll leave. I kind of lock in for a marathon. We love marathons. Why do I always end up in someone's basement? I just need more wine. You gotta talk to the mods. Maybe they'll give you some. They might pass you some wine bottles through the gated entrance. Sounds good, Ginger. Got a preferred bottle. It's nutty. People sneaking into the basements. We're going to give Ginger just a few moments to confirm. If Maelstrom and Lynx, make sure you go confirm your merch as well. I think I saw the alerts. I think you guys may have, but welcome to the basement madness. The cookies are besides the bar. The drinks are unknown, so best luck. And the casino is where the mods are. Already did. Perfect. Should arrive just in time for Christmas. Hell yeah. Is there a basement command? There shouldn't be, Lemur. The basement joke has kind of been a loose joke, but ayo. But we've kind of locked it into the Mayhem lore during this subathon. So you're here during its creation of existence. So now you're really locked in. We have jokes that I kidnap everybody, but the being in the basement, is slowly trickled its way into commonplace conversation. All right. Well, hurry up and pick, Ginger, because I'm starting this book with or without you. Okay. Chapter 1 of Morning Glory Milking Farm. Are y'all ready? The goal for every client is a plentiful, speedy collection. That is the expectation with which you will approach every shift, getting our clients in and out and on with their day, all while maintaining our quality protocols. A plentiful, speedy collection makes for happy clients and a productive farm. The fox-like woman's beaming, sharp-edged smile froze. Her glinting canines transformed into something sinister and vaguely threatening as Violet tapped the laptop, pausing the video for the third time that morning. She'd not yet made it past the introduction today, needing to repeatedly remind herself to breathe and stay upright. She was home, so bolting out into the hallway and making a break for the elevator would make little sense, particularly if she wanted to avoid the uncomfortable scenario of her elderly neighbors hearing the sound of the video coming from her apartment and discovering what she was watching. She thought of little old Miss Mulstein from down the hall, a withered, hunched crone with the beginnings of dementia, accidentally wandering into the wrong apartment, catching sight of the instructional video, and having a stroke right there in the middle of the living room. Is that what you want? For the last thing that sweet old woman sees is some minotaur getting a tug job? Get a fucking grip and make up your mind. Her portal access was only good for another 8 hours. There's already a typo in this book. 8 hours in which to decide whether or not she'd be a good fit for the team at Morning Glory Farm. If her jangling nerves and her ever-present anxiety would allow her to take the plunge and click accept. The implication of the fox woman's words and what exactly she'd be gripping is if she took the job occurred to Violet then. And she moaned in mortification. Moaned? Really? It wasn't the first preposterous mental image she'd concocted since leaving Cambric Creek the previous afternoon, and Violet was certain, as she clicked play once more, that it wouldn't be the last. The job listing had seemed too good to be true. Now hiring, technicians and assistants, no prior experience needed, on-the-job training, full benefits, flexible scheduling. Visit our webpage for more information and apply today. Morning Glory Farm is a subsidiary of Fizzle Pharmaceuticals. Let's go. Violet had known it the moment it pinged the hiring app on her phone nearly a week ago. She'd squinted at her phone screen in disbelief as she scrolled. No experience necessary, on-the-job training provided, 2 weeks vacation and full benefits, including dental. Dental? She had no idea what a milking technician was, nor what it entailed. But the advertised starting salary was higher than any belonging to the handful of jobs open in her degree field, none of which paid enough to comfortably keep a roof over her head. The family upstairs had chosen that moment to begin what sounded like a good old-fashioned barn-stomping square dance, reminding her that the roof overhead wasn't exactly anything to brag about, which made the fact that she struggled to pay her rent even more galling. Pumpkin, Daddy and I have been talking. Now, I know you're going to say no, but please just think about it, okay? We think you ought to consider coming home while you're looking for work. She'd practically been able to hear her mother raising a hand to hold off any protestations, could imagine it easily. If you think you feel too crowded in the house now that Aunt Gracie is with us, we can clean out the loft over the garage. It would be like having your own little apartment. You wouldn't need to worry about rent. You'd be out of that awful city. Just promise me you'll think about it, all right? It doesn't make any sense to be wasting so much money before you found something stable, and it would be so nice having you home. She'd gripped the phone with the whitened knuckles, trying to hold back her tears until disconnecting. Her mother always seemed to know when to call, always knew when I read that as a condescending mother, but apparently we like our mom in this book. My bad. Let me reread that. It would be so nice to have you home. She gripped the phone with whitened knuckles, trying to hold back her tears until disconnecting. Her mother had always seemed to know when to call, always knew when she was at her lowest and most vulnerable, always with an abundance of love, overflowing with compassion and eager to help. But always at the worst fucking times. Moving to Bridgeton for grad school had always been a point of contention with her mother. Too dangerous, too expensive, too dirty, too far away. She hadn't wanted her only child moving to the big city, several hours away from her hugs and home-cooked meals and her own untreated anxiety disorder. But Violet had been adamant. It was a bitter pill to swallow now, being forced to admit her mother was not wrong in her assessment. There was a particular sort of indignity that came along with being simultaneously well-educated and in dire straits financially. She had done everything right, had studied hard, made the dean's list, participated in campus events, graduated with honors. But then, by the time she'd earned her bachelor's degree, her chosen job field required a master's, sending her back to the classroom, taking out several loans to do so, confident that she'd begin her career immediately after graduation. Her part-time job in the urban development office actually put her degree to use, but they'd been upfront that it was unlikely to turn into a permanent position. Not with the scads of people who had priority ahead of her. Where was I? Bridgeton was too expensive, and Violet had come to admit that she didn't actually love living in the middle of a big urban city the way she thought she would. Admitted it to herself, at least. If I don't find something soon, I'm not going to have much of a choice, she'd agreed bitterly, pressing her tongue into the roof of her mouth as her mother cooed sympathetically. Don't cry. If you start crying, she'll drive here tonight. In hindsight, putting herself into debt to work in the nonprofit sector seemed almost comical. Would have been a fucking riot were it anyone else. Unfortunately, it was hard to appreciate the humor of the situation when she was the butt of the joke. There had been no crystal ball to show her that the job market would bottom out, no sidewalk soothsayer to warn her from the debt she was taking on. The near future had no clarion call, so she never suspected she'd find herself overqualified for 75% of the jobs with openings and unable to pay back her student loans with the entry-level salaries they offered. She was tired of struggling to pay her rent, was certain she was giving herself an ulcer, stressing over her inability to repay her loans, and remitting the bare minimum on her nearly maxed-out credit cards. But the thought of moving home, back to the boring little town she lived in her entire life, where no one ever left and no one ever did anything but had more kids and ensure future generations of drudgery to the loft above her parents' garage, currently filled with boxes from Aunt Gracie's house and evidence of her mother's hobbies pursued and long since abandoned, was not one she could abide. Now, here was this job, a potential lifeline if she got it. She'd clicked the Apply Now button without another moment of hesitation. Anything would be better than moving home. Who cares what it's for? Famous last words. She'd been forced to admit the previous day, squirming in her seat as the training video had been queued up, glancing at the other prospective new hires in attendance, a green-skinned woman with broad shoulders and curving tusks, whose long black braid sat heavily on her shoulder, a slender troll who'd scarcely looked up from her phone since they'd entered the video room, an anxious-seeming young man with long, rabbit-like ears who carried a water bottle emblazoned with the local university's logo, and a pair of goblins who seemed to know each other, and if their nonstop chatter was any indication. There was not another human in sight, but Violet had been half expecting that. The interview process had been simple and straightforward. An online portal to apply, followed by a video call during which she'd been asked about her work history and organization skills. She'd been invited to visit the facility for the final step in the process. Traveling to Cambric Creek, a neighboring suburb that boasted a multi-species population, a longer commute than she'd been hoping for, but as the GPS led her through the suburb's quaint downtown, past shops and restaurants, until housing developments gave way to agricultural and industrial parkways, she reminded herself of the full benefits offered. Before she knew it, she was turning onto a long circular driveway, parking in front of a building with the outer facade of a great red barn, praying this might be the break she needed. It's going to be fine. You can do this. Who cares if you're the only human? You really need this job. The aesthetic design of the building went out of its way to invoke the friendly feeling of a neighborhood farmstead both inside and out. Artificial turf in the lobby with the ceiling painted to look like a summer sky. Bright, punchy colors that invoked gleaming tractors and richly painted barns with milk glass vases of daisies on every surface. They had spared no expense creating the visuals. Violet thought as she filled out the tax forms and onboarding paperwork before joining the small cluster of other prospective hires. The farmhouse aesthetic ended within the sterile white hallways of the employee corridors. The synthetic turf flooring of the lobby giving way to linoleum and the bright colors soothing out to cool eggshell and ice blue. A strange prickle of apprehension had creeped up her neck. A shiver she'd attributed to jitters and the strangeness of being the only human in the group. Welcome to Morning Glory. We appreciate you all taking time out of your days to visit the farm. The tiefling standing before them had cool blue skin and curling horns of a ram, and her smile was overly wide. Today we'll be giving you a tour of the facility, as well as the opportunity to register on our online portal and watch some process videos. Your portal access is good for 24 hours, in which time you'll need to decide whether you'll be a good fit for our team. If the answer is yes, you can input your schedule availability, and you'll be put into the rotation the following week. Shut up, Sage. I was reading quick. The girl had paused to smile brightly once more, a spade-tipped tail swishing behind her. Your first 2 weeks on the job will be shadowing technicians who have been with us from the beginning. So rest assured, you'll be shown everything you need to learn before you're on your own. Violet had trailed on the edge of the group for the next hour, feeling awkward and out of place as they followed the tiefling in and out of the various rooms, and she hadn't been any closer to understanding what exactly the job she'd applied for entailed by the time they were led to the large classroom-like space, taking seats and tables as the first training video was queued up. The overhead lights had dimmed instantly, and the chatter in the room had ceased. Everyone straightened to attention as the video began. A bright-eyed woman with the features of a fox had filled the screen. Beaming from the center of the same lobby of the prospective employees had gathered in that morning, wearing a black and white Holstein printed apron, I don't think I said that right, over a white cap sleeve top. Behind her, filling the upholstered lobby chairs, was a cluster of minotaurs. Here we go. Excuse me. This easily could be DLC for Baldur's Gate 3. Okay. Oh, God. Listen, Lemur. Calm down. Everybody calm down. Welcome to Morning Glory Farm. Incorporated nearly a decade ago, our mission has remained the same since the day our lab processed its first specimen. To uphold the integrity of the genetic material in our care, to set a new standard in pharmaceutical processing that the entire industry would model, and to provide client-first attitude in all we do. Our brand new state-of-the-art facility in Cambric Creek marries all three tenets, putting the client experience at the center of our collection process. As a milking technician on our collection floor, you will be tasked with ensuring a plentiful, speedy collection, processed in accordance with our standards in safety and sterility. You've already taken a tour of the facility. Now you'll get to see the process in action. Follow me. On the screen, the foxwoman had twinkled as one of the minotaurs behind her rose, following her through a set of double doors. Violet had felt a sudden wave of nerves grip her, an inexplicable panic that had tightened her throat and made her grip the sides of her chair as if she needed to hold on for dear life. A plentiful, speedy collection? What does that mean? What do the minotaurs have to do with anything? She'd had no idea why, no clue what caused the sudden premonition to squeeze her heart, but a tiny, panicked voice in her head had begun to whisper, "Run." As you've already seen, our state-of-the-art collection rooms have been designed for both client comfort and ease of execution by our milking technicians. The bi-level design puts the tools you need right at your fingertips, keeping the process seamless and efficient. A dedicated team ensures each collection room is fully stocked and set up for every client so there's no lag time, setting you up for success. On the screen, several feet above the cheerful woman on the upper portion of the On the screen, several feet above the cheerful woman on the upper portion of the curiously designed room, The Minotaur had... I can't read this. The Minotaur had lowered his pants. I was told the smut didn't start till chapter 2. Oh no. The Minotaur had lowered its pants. Violet wasn't sure if her strangled gasp had been swallowed up by the room, for no one had turned or shushed her, and she'd been very nearly able to convince herself she'd imagined seeing the quick glance of a rounded backside and swishing tail as the camera panned over a chrome appliance in the center of the room where the smiling woman stood. But there could be no question a moment later when the semi-erect Minotaur penis appeared through an opening beside the woman's head. It just occurred to me why it's called Morning Glory Milking Farm. Okay. Where was I? Heavy. God damn it. Heavy-looking testicles hung behind the jutting appendage, and the fox woman had beamed, depressing the pump of a large bottle on the table beside her, coating her gloved hands in oil. Oh my God. I think I'm going to need something stronger than coffee. Once your room is set up and your client arrives, you'll need to ensure the collection unit is loaded and your client clipboard in order. Then there's only one thing left to do. Her smile had widened, showing a row of blinding white teeth, offset with long, sharp, completely inhuman canines. And her hands had raised, gripping the erection without a moment of hesitation. Start milking. How many more pages is chapter 1? Oh no! Oh God. That human men placed an enormous importance on their dicks was no surprise to her. The whole world seemed to be designed for cocks, after all. Offices that were too cold, seatbelts that cut across the neck instead of sitting comfortably across your chest, medicines that had only ever been tested on one segment of the population. Modern conveniences had been designed with only one half the population in mind, at least in the human world. So the discovery that there was an entire underground industry devoted to human men's erections was not at all surprising. Metallic just gifted a sub to Minotaur Mike. Metallic, how dare you? How dare you? Oh, is there an ad right now? There's an ad for a minute. We'll wait. We can wait. We can wait. There's still so many pages of chapter 1. Oh no. Oh, how dare you, Metallic. Metallic, thank you for the gifted sub. You can't see me, but you're welcome. I'm just edging chat. I'll start rereading this paragraph because we should read it again because it should be read again. Quality book right here. That human men placed an enormous importance on their dicks was no surprise to her. The whole world seemed to be designed for cocks, after all. Offices that were too cold, seatbelts that cut across the neck instead of sitting comfortably across the chest, medicines that had only ever been tested on one segment of the population. Modern conveniences had been designed with only half the population in mind, at least in the human world. So the discovery that there was an entire underground industry devoted to human men's erections was not at all surprising. Learning the links to which pharmaceutical companies were willing to go to ensure the production of those erection-enhancing little blue pills didn't slow, however, was eye-opening. Bull semen, specifically minotaur semen, was a major component in giving the pills the oomph their devotees needed. And she, in her new role, if she decided to take the job, would be responsible for collecting it. She needed to decide by that evening, a decision that seemed as daunting as it had in the hours after she'd left the farm in a daze as it did now. She had spent the rest of her previous evening slumped over her laptop, watching slack-jawed as the beaming foxwoman in the video jerked off minotaur after minotaur, huge hulking bull man resting comfortably against the padded breeding stocks. Lord have mercy. Twitch is gonna ban me. Is this TOS compliant? Devin. Their thick members prominently displayed for the technician who stood at a level below them. It is compliant or it is not compliant. I am concerned. It's fucking cold enough. It's compliant. Okay, cool. I'm not rereading that sentence. Her dreams that night had been a twisted tangle of sharp, smiling teeth and the silhouettes of huge men. Ayo. The shadows of their horns completely engulfing her as she was pushed to stand between them till she'd woken gasping in a sweaty tangle, unsure of where she was or what she was contemplating. Now that she'd watched the video repeatedly, small details she might have overlooked otherwise jumped out at her. The Minotaur's girthy members vaguely resembled their human counterparts, but there was no comparing the size. That's in italics. I had to emphasize. Commensurate? I don't know how to say that word. I don't know how to say this word. Commensurate with the heft of the hulking bullmen. Their cocks were long and impossibly thick, riddled in veins with prominent dome-like heads. Oh, Lord. Hey, you spelled that wrong. Some bore the same coloration of their owners' varied hides, while others were bubblegum pink or deep red, flushed with the blood that engorged them. She wondered, watching as the technician moved her oiled hands in a continuous twist down the rigid shaft. Lord. Why am I doing this? Oh my God. It was bad enough I had to read this. Where was I? If the men in the video had been specifically chosen as displays of the finest Minotaur meat available and considered that reality might not match up with the glossy media, the same as it rarely did with human men. Did this person get laid ever? It's up to you to decide when the use of mechanical stimulation is necessary, the chipper woman had said seriously into the camera. The implication was clear. If the men were taking too long, apply the cylinders of the milking machine to speed things up. Despite the fact she knew exactly what was coming, ayo, Violet began to breathe hard when the technician released her hands. Oh, God, this next sentence. Letting the oiled cock bob as she took up one of the silver nozzles. Take my card, I need this book. It was, for a paperback, not cheap, to be honest. It's a $25 paperback. Okay. The hum of the machine's air compressor was a steady white noise in the video. the mechanical arms within already pistoning, creating the rhythmic suction the Minotaur was about to experience. It is popular. I paid for it. Sure enough, the big bull grunted and jerked as the cylinder was eased down his straining cock. Lowing deeply as the machine did its work. I like to I can't read. I can't. This. I should have stayed muted. Oh, Lord. I like to continue providing manual stimulation at this point, the technician advised as Violet whimpered. The same reaction she had each time she'd replayed this section numerous times the night before. Hey, yo! When the woman on the video began to rub at the huge swollen testicles. Oh my god. Pulling and squeezing as the Minotaur bucked against the table.
I gotta follow. Mom, get the camera.
Oh, Lord. Mama Bot, thank you for the follow. This is such a wild segment for you to hop into here. We're reading a smut book. Just the first chapter. Don't worry. Remember, the aim is a plentiful, speedy collection. Benny sent me here. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, Lord. Shut up, Fluff. A green light flicked to life on the machine, indicating... I can finally be done with this. No, not that. No, I'm not saying so sorry that you know Benny. I'm saying so sorry that you're here right now. That this is the content you're witnessing. We don't apologize for the knowing Benny. That is not what I'm saying. We love Benny. A green light flicked to life on the machine, indicating the collection had commenced as the Minotaur load again. His generous hips shaking the stalks above the chipper technician's head. As he slammed against them. Violet's eyes didn't know where to dart on the screen. I'm here because of what you're doing. Oh, no. I don't know if that's better or worse. Violet's eyes didn't know where to dart on the screen. The rutting hips of the bullman, the cylinders sucking on the massive cock that jutted from the opening in the bench, or the twee old-fashioned milk bottle at the base of the collection unit that was steadily being filled with white. In the end, she dragged the video's progress indicator back repeatedly 12 times or so, giving each point of interest her absolute focus. The bottle was nearly full when the Minotaur finally sagged in satisfaction, completely spent, and Violet did the same in her desk chair. This fucking girl, man, it's a training video on a high-end job. How many times you gotta watch? Oh, Lord. Hi, Ninja. Welcome to Morning Glory Milking Farm. Oh, the chapter's not over. We have a little over 2 pages left. Don't worry, Lemur. This is insane, she told herself. You can't do something like this. It's completely lewd and vulgar and inappropriate. Just get a job at the coffee shop at the corner. Is it, though? A traitorous little voice piped up as she opened the small pantry cabinet, seeking something for breakfast. It's a pharmaceutical company, a major multinational. It's not like you're working in some random guy's basement. She wasn't sure what she expected to find in the cupboard, knowing full well she hadn't gone shopping in over a week. It's not like you'd have to do it forever, the voice continued as she walked up the sidewalk a short while later, heading to the discount grocery store several blocks away. Just until you can get on your feet and pay down some bills, until you can find something in your field that actually pays a living wage. She didn't know how long that would take, didn't know if there would ever be jobs in the field that paid more than a pittance. I don't know that one. The smell of the chain coffee shop on the corner caught her nose then, a waft of dark beans and sugary pastries. Violet stopped in her tracks, heedless of the couple behind her, who were obliged to step into the street to move around her frozen form. I'm gonna hop off and help kids with cops and shoppers now. Okay, Ninja. I'll be back. Hopefully this is over. What the hell are you doing? You're almost 26 years old and you can barely pay your rent. You're on your way to buy day-old bread and generic orange juice. Really, you're going to get a second job at this coffee shop? You'll need to, because at this rate, the only way you'll ever be able to afford to have anything there. This job could be a lifeline, remember? Stop being so stupid. She imagined the curl of the overpriced coffee leading her by the nose like an old-fashioned cartoon character as she crossed the street, pausing for only a moment before the shop's heavy doors. She was down to the last crumpled $20 bill at the bottom of her shoulder bag, and she actually did need to buy that no-brand orange juice, but she wanted breakfast, a proper breakfast. The coffee was burnt and bitter-tasting, doctored with overly sweet syrups, and it, on the honey-glazed braid, had cost nearly half of the crumpled 20. But it didn't matter. She thought once she was back in her apartment and in front of her laptop once more. She paused, closing her eyes as she bit into the still warm bread. Honey really, did we need to include this? Honey sticky on her lips, before clicking on the link that would take her to the schedule input screen. Welcome to Morning Glory Farm. It was going to be okay, she breathed. You'll be on the schedule next week, and pretty soon you could drink all the overpriced burnt coffee you want. She queued up the video one last time before bed that night. After she'd received the confirmation email welcoming her to the farm and outlining what she'd been doing the following week. Hands-on training will be provided. She was going to be good at this, Violet decided, dragging the cursor back to zoom in on the technician's hands. Memorizing the way she gripped the slippery cock, the way her hands twisted. She always applied herself, given schoolwork and her part-time jobs her all, and this would be no exception. When the green light clicked on, she noted the way the Minotaur's hips bucked against the breeding bench. What? Why am I here? His movement matching the rhythmic spatters against the inside of the bottle. His deep bellow of pleasure seemed to rattle in her brain as she settled in her bed, wondering if they would all make the same sort of noises. If they'd all buck and thrust wildly when they came, as Minotaurs in the video had. Hands-on training starting next week. You'll be finding out soon, she thought, ignoring the tingle between her thighs as she turned out the light. End of chapter 1. End of chapter 1. That was Morning Glory Milking Farm. You're welcome. Nope, you do not need more. You can go buy the book yourself. I'm not reading more. I was told the second chapter was where the smut started. I'm not putting that on YouTube. No. Nope. Absolutely no more chapters. Nope. Nope. That was barely smut. What do you mean? You read that out to your stream, and then it was barely. If I was reading that, yeah, that's nothing. That's not even tittling my titties. But reading it out on stream is different. Audiobook was free on Spotify when I listened to it. I don't know if it still is, but yeah. I'm gonna regret this. If we hit cap and Mandy will have me, I'll read chapter 2 on stream. Bet. You heard it here first, folks. Benny says if he hits cap, he'll read chapter 2. We gotta hit cap. There's still so much time to hit cap. There's a lot of time. Every little bit counts, chat. Every little bit counts. Benny said it. If we hit cap, and Mandy will have me, I'll read chapter 2 on stream of Morning Glory Milking Farm from Benny. Someone screenshot it and put it in the Discord. Yes, I agree. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Someone screenshot it. Every little bit helps. If we hit cap, Benny's going to read it. I added here. I went for it. I added here in Discord. Oh my God. She wasn't involved and she didn't touch herself, so that was a smile. I guess not. The screenshot's gone. Put it back. What? No, it's not. It's right there. I put the screenshot there. It's right there. Is it not there for you? Yeah, Fluffs was there and then disappeared. It's fine. We can have the screenshot there multiple times. We need to let people know what's happening.